There is always a beginning, and the beginning is where things start. Even the beginning is a process, a slow process of growth. Before you see the oak tree, you don't see the process in the acorn, but that is exactly where the oak begins. And that is exactly where you begin. That's where we all begin. At the very start, we don't seem like much, just like that acorn. But as time goes, we start to show some promise. The only thing that stops us from getting to that stage of hope and promise is fear. The fear of being stupid, silly, clumsy, incompetent, a newb. But that's where the journey of a hero begins. It begins simply in one's mind. That brings the seed of hope into life. The thing I like about being a novice, especially naive or empty cup of a beginner, or a fool, as Jordan Peterson puts it, that you're open to possibilities and new ideas, and you're naive enough not to be so sure dismissing yourself as being something in the future. You give yourself a chance, and that's all you need. The only thing you have to understand is that is not up to other people to give you that chance, but up to you. The saddest thing is that most of us would give the other person a chance quicker than we would give it to ourselves. Can we change that? If you have ever watched a similar film like Kung Fu Panda, you notice how those heroes that can save others are usually unaware of their power. They are portrayed as fools, totally useless, and just utterly laughable. Like any other hero, they have to leave their home, the comfort zone, and go into the unknown and fight for the good of others. As time progresses and more work is put in, the potential starts to emerge, and the belief of the hero just not yet starts to change the tone of a movie. The thing is that the training and the learning part, when one gets better and better, is the most emotional part, followed by uplifting music. It conveys the message. Fools turn into heroes by pushing that hero out of a fool. And how do we do that? Little steps, simplest things, basic moves, and self-belief first. We start at the beginning. On the way to your best version of yourself, I hope you will never reach it. You acquire the skills, persistence, determination, and all ins and outs of the thing you're good at. You start to outgrow the current opportunities and what your current surroundings can offer. If you get to that stage, it's time to move on. We can't grow from a zero to a hero in a night. It goes against the hero story and why it is that people become those heroes we are talking about. Just as Napoleon Hill said that quick riches are worse than poverty because you can't operate on two different levels of consciousness, and that is because you don't have time to learn and adapt the new way of thinking, and you need time to change that thinking to go into a different you. It is a process and not a moment. A moment can be when you realize that what I'm saying now might be true, but to realize that in your actions will need time. And this is the way we grow and change, and it is 1,000 times better than sit on someone's ideas and think that they are yours, when a matter of fact is that they aren't. Similar stories are told about the people who inherit big businesses or large sums of money, and what someone took 60 years to build is pushed off a cliff in a matter of months with a new owner attached to it. The lotto winners would be just one example. Many of you have watched American Idol, X Factor, and similar shows, and many of us have seen young talented people who wanted to be famous, sing to big audiences, sell albums, and be in the spotlight. Judges will praise them as the next big thing, praise their voice and performance abilities. Yep, they are here to stay, and yet they don't stay. Let's for the moment forget those who left the show first. Let us focus on those who made it to the finals. People voted for them, supported, and knew who is their next idol. Most of those idols sang the song they sang in the finals on YouTube for another year and then disappeared. What happened to those driven and talented people? Can we be so sure of the word driven here? Who is more driven? Someone who writes her book, who is rejected 1,000 times, been told to stop making fun of herself and to put her life together, but in the end is recognized and finally gets her book published that becomes an instant success, or a 16-year-old who gets into a singing contest without any previous song of her own, no singing in bars, streets, someone else's show, and many rejections and criticism. We don't have a fool here. We have an overnight success with a good voice and words to sing. She gets a deal for one album, and after that, she is on her own, and this story ends right at the she is on her own. And by now, I hope you understand why. Do you know what is the good thing about all this? That you can start now. Don't be afraid to be a fool and start your first steps. You're not on X Factor. The world isn't watching just yet, so you have time to grow. You have time to make mistakes, and it's all good. You are going to be okay, just as I am writing now. Is my beginning, and what if I am a fool? The best question to ask yourself is, a fool for how long? Until you grow out of it, just like the oak tree grows out of an acorn. And that's the best thing that can happen to you.